Disguised as a priest, professional thief Parker arrives at the Ohio State Fair. His partners, Melander and Ross, are dressed as clowns, working to infiltrate the security cabin where the fair's cash is stored. When a distraction prevents their associate Hardwick from catching the clown's signal, Parker steps in, prompting him to take action. As the plan unfolds, the clowns remind themselves they have only 5 minutes before Hardwick sets fire to the hay bales behind the livestock pavilion. However, Hardwick encounters a roadblock on his way to the livestock area, forcing him to adjust the plan. Meanwhile, Parker reaches the security cabin, and the clowns, now armed, enter to threaten the staff while Parker erases the security footage. Phones are collected in the ensuing hostage situation, and though Hardwick mistakenly sets the fire near the fair stage, Melander and Ross begin unlocking the cabinets inside the security cabin. Parker reflects on his girlfriend Claire, and how her father, Hurley, Parker's partner, tipped him off about the cash-filled cabinets. Hurley also assembled the heist team, introducing Parker to unfamiliar faces. As expected, they locate the fair's money stash. But unexpectedly, the fire causes an explosion when it reaches the gas tanks. The team, aiming to avoid casualties, is shocked by the blast. Amid the chaos, they still manage to escape with the cash, thanks to Carlson, who drives Melander and Ross to safety. Parker, shedding his priest disguise, slips away from the fair as well. Later, Parker confronts Hardwick, frustrated by the deviation in their plan, which risked lives due to the fire. Soon after, the crew switches vehicles and drives off together. Pleased with their success, Melander suggests using their stolen $1 million for a new job, a jewelry heist worth $2 million each. Parker, however, refuses to continue working with them. Tensions rise as gunfire erupts, and Carlson nearly crashes the car. Injured, Parker leaps out, and the gang, led by Hardwick, abandons him, believing him to be dead. Fortunately, a family of farmers finds Parker and takes him to a hospital. Once he regains consciousness, Parker learns from the news that the fair fire caused 1 death and multiple injuries. Determined to avoid arrest, he knocks out a guard and escapes the hospital, fleeing in an ambulance. Parker breaks into a motel room before hot-wiring a car in the parking lot. Interrupting another heist, he takes off with the cash and steals another car outside. He then meets Nord, one of Hurley's contacts, offering him money in exchange for forged documents, which will be ready in 5 days. Parker contacts Hurley, asking where to find Melander. Hurley warns him not to seek revenge, explaining that Melander has powerful connections, including his uncle, mob boss Danziger. But Parker's persistence pays off when Hurley reluctantly provides information on Hardwick's brother Bobby in New Orleans. A confrontation with Bobby results in Parker learning that Melander and Hardwick fled with Bobby's cut of the money. Extracting more information, Parker discovers that the team is in Palm Beach, Florida. Concerned for Claire's safety, Parker leaves her a message, urging her to go into hiding. He then informs Hurley that he's heading to Palm Beach. Meanwhile, the crew is preparing for their next job when Hardwick finds out Parker visited Bobby. Shocked to learn that Parker survived, the gang knows revenge is imminent. Fearing for their lives, Hardwick contacts Danziger for help. Soon, one of Danziger's hitmen breaks into Claire's house while she's alone, but she narrowly escapes by fleeing through a window and disabling the hitman's car before making her own getaway.
Claire contacts Parker, and he instructs her to head to a safe house at a nearby fishing camp. Meanwhile, Parker meets with Nord, only to find that Danziger's men have tracked him down as well. Nord handles the situation but insists on staying out of the conflict. Once Parker's documents, under the alias Daniel Parmet, a Texas oil baron, are ready, he convinces Nord to eliminate Danziger's men, ensuring they won't cause further trouble. Armed with his weapon, Parker meets Hurley again. Hurley pleads with him to abandon his revenge, offering money and falsely claiming that Danziger sent Parker his share from the Ohio job. However, Parker refuses to back down. Instead, he persuades Hurley to purchase a house in Palm Beach. At the office of a real estate broker, an employee named Leslie Rogers discreetly steals the contact information of a wealthy client, Mr. Parmet, who is looking for a third vacation home and willing to pay in cash. Desperate for the commission, Leslie meets Parker, unaware of the danger she's walking into. After touring a few properties, Parker agrees to meet Leslie again the next day, before heading to Lake Okeechobee to see Claire. The following morning, as they continue viewing mansions, Parker learns about Leslie's financial struggles, including her recent divorce and the debt she's helping her ex-husband cover after he declared bankruptcy. Leslie shows him a house recently sold to a man named Mr. Rodrigo, which piques Parker's interest. Melander had mentioned buying a house with the stolen Ohio funds. Later that evening, Parker revisits Rodrigo's house, confirming his suspicion when he sees Melander and the crew have set up base there. Parker sneaks inside, planting hidden weapons and damaging the firing pins of their guns before quietly leaving. As he exits, he runs into Leslie, who invites him out. Parker agrees, and on their way to her office, Leslie reveals that she knows about his fake identity, having also found Mr. Rodrigo's identity to be fraudulent. At the office, Leslie opens up about her difficult financial situation, suspecting Parker's true intentions in Palm Beach. She offers to assist him, believing her local knowledge could prove useful. Parker leaves, saying he'll consider her offer. 2 days later, Parker contacts Leslie, and they meet at a nearby condo. He informs her about Melander's crew planning a massive jewelry heist, which Leslie quickly identifies as the auction for $75 million worth of jewels happening the next night. She shares details of the private property hosting the event and advises Parker on how to access it unnoticed. Meanwhile, Melander and his team, posing as event organizers, prepare the venue by planting speakers loaded with fireworks. As Leslie guides Parker to the back entrance, he observes Melander and Ross. After dropping Leslie off, Parker returns to his hotel, where he is suddenly attacked by one of Danzinger's hitmen. An intense fight ensues. A fierce battle erupts between Parker and the hitman, and surprisingly, they are equally matched in skill. Parker manages to land a few precise punches on the hitman, who is reputed to be Danzinger's best enforcer. As the fight intensifies, Parker finds himself being strangled by a shower curtain. He stomps on the hitman's foot, breaking free, and delivers a powerful blow, knocking him out. However, as Parker reaches for the hitman's knife, the assailant recovers and strangles him again. In a desperate move, Parker tries to throw the hitman off the balcony but ends up hanging from it himself, with the hitman kicking at him. Parker finally overpowers his opponent, sending the hitman to his death below. Badly injured, Parker makes it back to his room. The next morning, Leslie is visited by a police officer she knows. He questions her about Mr. Daniel Parmet, and she admits to having shown him a few properties. During the conversation, she realizes that Parker, now wounded, has taken refuge in her home. The officer informs her that someone fell to their death from Mr. Parmet's hotel room and that Parker hasn't been seen since he stole a car. After promising to update her with more information, the cop leaves, and Leslie quickly heads to where Parker is hiding. Parker instructs Leslie to use a payphone to make a call to a number he gives her. He tells her to go to work afterward while he stays behind with her mother. Following his instructions, Leslie makes the call and heads to work, where she watches a video showing the hitman falling off the balcony. Distracted and concerned for Parker, Leslie hurries back home, only to find Claire there, tending to Parker's wounds. It turns out the number Leslie called was Claire's. Despite his injuries, Parker is determined to carry out the plan for the auction that night. After being patched up, Claire promises to wait for him at the fish camp and leaves. Parker warns Leslie that the police may be watching her and urges her to return to work, assuring her he'll be gone by the time she gets back. Meanwhile, Leslie frets about Parker's risky plans. Elsewhere, Melander, Ross, and Carlson disguise themselves as firemen, while Hardwick readies a boat. By evening, the team stands by as the auction begins. When fireworks rigged into the event speakers go off, everyone is evacuated just in time for the fire truck's arrival. Melander, posing as a firefighter, falsely claims that the fumes are toxic, ensuring that no one re-enters the building. The crew then sets to work, smashing display cases and stealing the jewels. With the robbery complete, Hardwick is called to approach. As the crew prepares to escape, complications arise. Hardwick is questioned by a Marine unit of the Sheriff's Department for trespassing on private property, while the real firefighters show up. In full scuba gear, Melander leads his team into the lake as Hardwick retreats. Meanwhile, the auction organizers realize they've been robbed, prompting the police to lock down the island. Leslie watches anxiously as the events unfold. Parker, determined to see the plan through, makes his way to the team's hideout and breaks in. Leslie arrives soon after, having swum across the water. Melander, Ross, and Carlson also return, unaware that Parker is already inside. As the team celebrates their heist, Leslie peeks through a window but is caught at gunpoint by Hardwick, who forces her inside. Sensing that Parker is involved, Melander becomes agitated. When Hardwick turns violent, Leslie notices one of the guns Parker had hidden earlier. Melander stays with Leslie as the others search the house for Parker. This works to Parker's advantage, allowing him to discreetly take them out one by one. He starts by silently stabbing Ross. As Hardwick searches another area, Carlson reports that nothing seems out of place. Melander grows suspicious when Ross doesn't return, forcing Hardwick to investigate further, leaving Carlson to guard Leslie. Melander continues his search for Parker but realizes Leslie has spotted him. Sensing danger, Melander threatens her life to force Parker out of hiding. In a quick move, Leslie grabs the hidden gun and shoots Carlson. At the same time, Melander realizes Parker tampered with his weapon. In response, he lunges at Parker, but Parker manages to stab him before shooting him dead. Just then, Hardwick, holding Leslie at gunpoint, threatens Parker with retaliation from Danzinger if he's harmed. Confident that Hardwick's gun has also been sabotaged, Parker calmly rescues Leslie and shoots Hardwick. With the crew eliminated, Leslie helps Parker out of the house. He instructs her to stash the stolen jewels at her office, assuring her that someone will come to collect them. He promises that she will receive her share from the sale, a sum in the millions. Relieved, Leslie realizes her financial troubles may soon be over. 6 months later, in Chicago, Parker tracks down Danziger and kills him. A year later, Leslie finally receives her long-awaited share from the heist, just as Parker promised. He also sends a portion of the money to the farmers who had rescued him, thanking them for saving his life. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more movie recaps.